To understand the ghost dance movement, one must understand circumstances the Indians faced in the late 1800s. All across America there was pressure being put on the tribes. America's population continued to grow and to spread across the continent. American Indian tribes were being moved from their chosen lands and forced to move to new lands called reservations. So it's easy to understand why the American Indians would long for the old days before the white man came into their lands and changed their lives forever. Many believed that the way to do this was to get rid of the white man altogether. There were some that wanted to fight and force the white men to leave their lands, but there were others that went about it in a different way. One of the biggest movements in the late 1800s was the ghost dance movement. This movement started in Nevada and spread all over America. Wovoka was the man who started the movement. Wovoka was a Paiute medicine man who was given the ghost dance through a vision he experienced. Wovoka became sick and experienced fever dreams where he believed that he was shown a way to restore the old days by God. Wovoka's ghost dance was influenced by other similar movements like the ghost dance of the 1870s, the Dreamer movement, and the Shaker movement. All of these movements focused on the same thing. They wanted to remove the white man from the lands, restore the old ways, and bring back the game animals whose population has been decimated. Wovoka believed that all of these things could be accomplished if American Indians practiced his teachings. Thousands of Indians from all across the western United States traveled to Nevada to hear his teachings. This had two effects. One was that more and more Indians traveled to hear his teachings, and the second was that the U.S. government and the white population became nervous with so many Indians gathering in one place. Wovoka's teachings basically called for a return to the old way of doing things. He believed that if Indians would live like their ancestors did, they would be rewarded. This meant not using any of the white man's products or tools that had been integrated into reservation culture. One of the biggest things was that they had to give up alcohol. Wovoka taught that they needed to be peaceful and not fight the whites, but cooperate with them so that there was no conflict. He also taught not to lie and to always do the right thing. They also had to perform the ghost dance with their people regularly. This dance was based on the Paiute Sun Dance but had slight variations that made it unique. If the American Indians did what Wovoka taught, the earth would be reborn. All the whites would be destroyed or at least moved to other lands by a supernatural flood. They would be able to practice their old traditions without the influence of the white man. Not only would the white man be gone, but all of the dead Indians would now be given new life. It would be like a utopia where the old would be giving their youth back to them and there would be no more sickness or death. The game animals whose population had been depleted would be restored and there would be good hunting again. He also taught that all of those who did not participate in the movement would be wiped away with the whites and supernaturally punished. This movement became very popular and word of it finally spread to the Lakotas in the Great Plains in 1890. Chief Sitting Bull sent some of his people to Nevada to listen to the teaching of Wovoka. They came back with his teaching and shared it with their people. Chief Sitting Bull encouraged his people to follow the teachings of Wovoka and to return to their old ways. The Indian agencies began to worry about the large gathering of Indians and their dancing and singing. They believed that they were preparing for war and that there would be an outbreak of violence against white settlers. So the government sent Indian police to arrest Sitting Bull to stop the movement. During the process of the arrest of the chief, he was killed. Many of the peaceful dancers believed that they were in danger, so they ran away, and one group of dancers gathered at Wounded Knee Creek. The 7th Cavalry found them and surrounded the people. They tried to disarm them, and a gun went off, and the army fired into the people, killing them. It was a massacre, and the peaceful movement in the plains ended in blood and destruction. This was a major stumbling block for the ghost dance movement, and within the next 2 years, the movement was done.